We are there. All right, let's try it again.
Yeah.
This is my virtual background, everyone. It looks just fantastic. It looks like a place under construction, which is what it's meant to be.
Now look at mine.
I know, you changed.
So mine is now, and for anybody just joining us, I've started a new line of animated virtual backgrounds. Now this one
not the
isn't
place
animated.
to shill your products.
This one isn't animated here, but if you the actual product itself, we've got a roaring fire and we've got a sky that moves in the background. So this is my new fantastic penthouse apartment.
Very
Hello,
flash.
Vulcandel.
Hi, Vulcandel. Thank you very much for joining up. If you have any questions or anything, just ask away, because obviously basically the floor's yours. Anything at all that you want to ask Chalk or myself, or maybe if you
want to know where to buy my new virtual backgrounds, I can tell you that.
No, there's no shilling of product. No.
Hello, Don Crypto.
Hi, Don Crypto. Thank you very much for calling in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, I put a link in Coffee and Crypto. So I presume that's where people have come from. So thank you very much for just calling in. Feel free to ask any questions of either Chalk or myself or both of us.
Yeah.
You know, basically you've got to share the floor now. There's two people here. So yeah.
I don't share with anybody. So anyway, listen, I've got to open my door in my amazing penthouse because it's so hot in New York.
You're right, eh?
Oh my God, I'm such a child. Yes, so how's things? How's life on the farm today with you, Keith?
Wet again. Jesus, just winter is really hitting hard early this year. Like, as you know, we've just gone past our shortest day of the year and your longest day. So the winter solstice has just passed, and for you guys, the summer solstice. So, oh wow, you've just like that, you changed houses.
Sorry, I got a bit bored in New York. I thought I'd go cozy loft. Go on, I am listening.
But yeah, well, you had a look at my video today where I was riding around on a quad bike and gave Hulk a rub up. See all the water in the paddock.
I did.
Yeah, it's wet. It's very wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been getting about 20 mils of rain a day, so you know it's just when you keep getting that every single day, it's just really wet.
Yeah, not good. Whereas
it is good. It is.
Okay. Well, yeah.
We live in a high rainfall area, so we need the rain. Otherwise, even when we get like 3/4 of what we get now, it's like you're in a drought.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need the rain. It's just the way the environment here works. Relies on it.
Yeah, we are kind of nice today, actually. There's high cloud, there's a bit of wind, but you know, when you've got the sun kind of filtering through, so it's not bright sunlight, but it's just one of those lovely kind of spring summery days. I suppose it is summer now because we're heading back towards winter now, aren't we? And you're heading towards summer officially.
Yeah, well, winter doesn't normally really start until after the winter solstice. So, but we've really been getting it quite early. So, yeah. It's... Hi, Yanni. Yanni.
Hello, Nanny. Haven't seen you in ages. No, I know he's been around, but we haven't kind of crossed paths for a while. So
no, he hides out everywhere else now. He's abandoned us for the best part.
Oh, I know. No. But he's here today, and that's all that matters. And Nanny, what do you think of my background?
And my background?
Yeah, of course. But my background. What do you think of my background?
Yours is flash. Come on.
That's because I made it.
Are you actually in your house, or are you somewhere else? Like
I'm where I normally am on my lounge. And then he's doing awesome. Oh my God, he's got off school today. Why? Tell us.
have you been naughty and got suspended?
Where is El Neni? Is he in the States or
South Africa?
Oh, South Africa. Sorry. Okay. So tell us, El Neni, why.
I can't remember what country, but it's on the western side of the continent. Yeah, sorry, El Neni. If I looked at the geographic map, I'm sure I'll be able to, because I remember you telling me, but I can't quite think of the name of the country.
Tell us why you're off school today. Is it a special day? Are you not very well? Did you just not want to go in? Is it a day off for everybody? Let's decide why El Neni. What has he done that's so bad that he's off school? Do you think he swore at a teacher?
Not South Africa. Well, yeah, I know it's not South Africa. It's another country further up north on the west coast. But I'm talking about the continent.
West Africa.
Yeah, I know. Ghana. Yeah, Ghana. That's the name of the country. Yeah, I knew. Well, hi, Milky.
Milky's here. I always got a gasp when I see Milky. Milky. Hello, Milky, my friend. What do you think to my amazing background? Do you like it?
Everyone that calls in, you just got to keep.
Well, look, Milky, this is my new little line.
Yeah.
I'm making little backgrounds to sell on Etsy, but these are static, but the ones I'm making and selling in Etsy are actually animated, so the fire there actually moves and the sky moves and things. So do you like my new penthouse? This is my new penthouse.
Yeah, it's flash.
Yeah.
and this is my penthouse.
No, I keep telling you, Keith, it's your barn conversion.
Yeah, as you can see, it's under construction. So,
it's your barn conversion. But now
thank you very much, Milky, for calling in. If you have any questions or anything you want to say, just fire away.
About my backgrounds.
Yeah, about your background. Yeah, because that's the only thing.
Also, I'm going to take commissions. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can have any kind of background you like, and I'll animate it for you. Yes, Milky. That's all of that
Seifu. I know, it's unbelievable how you've got all of those wallets that you set up for your family, and oh, geez, you got to How do you even have a wallet big enough to load up all that Seifu? You know, all the money you've cashed out. Like,
I know. Well.
Don't worry, Milky, we get it.
I'll give you advice. Maybe I should change it because I don't want to give the wrong impression. Because I've clearly got billions, not just millions, billions.
Yeah, but maybe this is just a facade as well, you know, like.
Well. I'll give you a background that's perhaps more
clothes that have holes in them and stuff like.
Well, I'm gonna give you.
I wouldn't be a farmer if I didn't have that.
I'm gonna give you a more appropriate background. Hold on there.
What for me?
Oh, El Neni's. No, for me. Well, for me and you.
I was gonna say.
For me and you. So instead of my millionaire penthouse, I'm actually camping out at the beach.
Oh, nice! I even got a combi.
So I'm actually camping out at the beach. That's what I'm doing. Anyway.
How romantic! I even got a full moon.
Oh yeah, all of my outdoor animations have full moon. Just saying.
Of course.
So what's El Neni doing? He's preparing for last minor exams before finale to graduate high school. How old is El Neni?
17, I think.
So,
see
Elneny,
how accurate I am.
Yeah, tell us Elneny. But Elneny's got style because look, the van looks fire. Yeah, that's my retro.
Yeah,
that's my camper van. So in the animated version, you've got a little campfire that's on fire, proper fire, and this string light moves, and the waves move, and the moon has clouds. Oh, happy 18th!
Happy birthday for last Friday.
Tell
I didn't know it was your birthday.
No. What did you get up? Tell us what you got up. Did you get up to anything? Did you go out? Did you have a family party? Did you do anything? But also, Elneny, what are you doing next? So you're graduating to high school. What are you going to do in high school? Are you focusing on one particular subject?
How would you be graduating to high school when you're 18?
I don't know. I'm confused. Maybe it's different in Ghana. Maybe they call it different because in England you'd now be going off to some sort of higher education or
university or something,
or college.
Because it would finish year 12. So
yeah. So tell it. Nah, I had school on that also.
I don't know what that means. I don't know.
What do you mean? What do you mean,
I got lost on that bit.
So are you using your day, Elneny? Are you actually preparing for your last minor exams, or are you just listening to us as a distraction, as an excuse not to do anything? I don't know. Tell us.
I don't think any of us know.
I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm doing in a little while? I'm going out for a lovely little stroll along a canal with the current Mr. Chalk and Mr. Monty, who's around and about. And we're going to go to our favourite little cafe. And we are going to have a gorgeous sandwich and a cup of tea, because that's how we roll.
Nice.
So Elneny got a bunch of tests I wrote. I meant had school. Oh, he was at school on his birthday. That stinks.
Yeah. Well, it happened to be on a Friday, didn't it?
That's when you should have had your day off, preparing for minor exams.
Of course.
Oh, he's doing geography.
So do you know where Western Australia is?
I hope he does. It's probably in the west of Australia, I'm guessing, but who knows?
It could be.
Well, Elneny,
if you look at where Ghana is to Africa, that's not where we are to Western Australia. We're way down further south.
Yeah.
We're like at Cape Town sort of thing.
Yeah, so if you got in the water at Ghana and swam.
Yeah. A long way south.
Let me tell you, Elneny, when I did my O-levels, now we're going back a long, long time, almost the Victorian era, when I did my O-levels, which is the exams you do in England at age 16. I passed all of my O-levels except one. Guess which one? I failed. Geography. I failed my geography.
You said that the other day. I know.
I
was trying to remember what it was.
I know. You can tell. It's like a scar that I wear. It still gives me trauma.
Well, it was only like 3 years ago or something for you.
Yeah, I know. I tried to make out I was a bit older than I am, but I'm not that old, really. Let's put it this way, Keith the Crypto Farmer. They don't do O-levels in England anymore. They were just extinguished about 30 years ago or something, maybe more.
You know, Chalk's only 21, so it was only 3 years ago that she failed geography. So.
Yeah, I couldn't be your mother at all, or even your grandmother. I couldn't be.
Look, let me give you the tip here on Annie. I am certain that she passed all the technical shit, like some complex maths and crap like that.
Yeah,
but then failed on a basic subject like geography. Like,
Eleni, I don't understand it, because I still remember to the day the major rivers in England and the British Isles and the mountain ranges.
The Nile and the Alps.
No, in the British Isles, we did. I'll tell you what we had to do. I remember we had to learn the major deserts of the world and the major mountain ranges of the world.
Oh yeah, so don't you have like the Sahara?
The Sahara, the Gobi, Death Valley.
That's all in England. Yeah.
Yeah. So I learned them all, and I still fail, so I don't understand it. So which bit of geography are you? Because there's different types of geography, isn't there? And there's kind of world geography, and there's like minerals, and there's agricultural geography.
I think I'm geology.
Well, okay. So
geology.
All right. That's why I failed.
Jeez.
So Eleni, tell us what bit of geography are you specializing in, and what do you want to do with geography? Are you going to be a geography teacher? Or are you going to go out and I don't know?
Well, is that like vodka you have in there or something?
Oh God, I wish. No, you know what it would be? It would be gin. Would be my thing.
Yeah, of course it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And to my, you can. I don't. Let me see. Oh no, you won't be able to see it. Just to my left is my favorite piece of furniture in my whole house, which is
your doggy.
Which is a drinks cabinet. So as I speak to you, I'm looking longingly at all of my bottles of gin, and it's a bit early, isn't it? No. It's 5 o'clock and somewhere.
Oh no, it's past. It's past midday here. 7:45.
Yeah. What is it they say? It's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world now.
In Australia, it's always somewhere past midday because you're not allowed to drink before midday.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know about this 5 o'clock thing. What are you talking? 5 o'clock in the morning?
Well, we always say 5 o'clock because it's like acceptable then to drink after 5 o'clock.
No, here it's like midday.
Oh, yeah, but we know about you Australians, don't we? I'm just saying. Oh, general geography. So, tell me, what are you going to do with your general geography? Do you know? You're going to have a career, or are you going to just give it all up for crypto? I wouldn't do that if I were you. Just saying.
Bloody hell.
So he studies physical human. That's what I knew. Human geography. I couldn't quite think of the terms. So physical, human, economic, climatology. Climatology. Do you know what I always wanted to be when I was growing up? There were a few things I wanted to be because, I was a musician.
A princess?
So yeah, well, I've achieved that. So that's okay. No, there was so I wanted to be like a music teacher and all that because I was a musician. So there was a lot of music going on. But the one thing I wanted to be, which I kind of came a cropper with because I failed my geography, I wanted to be a weather girl. I did. I love, and I think I still love talking about the weather, of course, but I always wanted to be a weather girl. Oh, there you go. Oh, might switch to business in college because crypto's making you think differently. I guess with business, you can apply it to kind of any industry. That's the thing, because there's always a business aspect of any industry.
My business stuff is all hands-on. Like I've been self-employed for a long, long time, and so it's through practical experience more than classroom qualifications, and sorry, go
on. No, I was just saying, who does your business who runs the business side? So you must have like accounting and ordering
Yeah.
stuff and all of that. Is that you or the current Mrs. Crypto Farmer?
Oh yeah, I forgot to order some stuff today too, didn't I? See, there you go. I forgot.
So, Lenny, it sounds like Keith the Crypto Farmer needs a business manager. Just saying.
I have a good accountant. They do the bookwork because we run a program. Like when you're dealing with tax, it's just horrible. And even though there's programs that make it fairly simple. There's one that you mainly use here in agriculture. It's called AgriMaster. And basically the program is that you just basically fill in all of the information on the computer, and then it gives you your official tax stuff because we got to lodge quarterly statements for GST. It's like your VAT. And so, but when you only do it once every 3 months, like seriously, it's just when you start to do the reconciliation with your bank statements and stuff, it's even with something so simple as what we are, because we're only a very small operation. It just gets like you forget what settings to do and stuff, and it's just So, but that costs you say $1,200 a year to have the program that you use 4 times a year. But if we use the accountant, it costs us about $350 a quarter. And so it's pretty much exactly the same amount of money just to pay the accountant to put in the information. And so, you'd be just stupid to do it yourself, wouldn't you? You just box up all the information, send it off to them, and they just fill it in and it's done. Whereas, why would you even bother doing it yourself? So that's why we have the bookkeeper at our accountancy that does that sort of stuff, because just trying to keep up with it is just too hard. And
I'm married to the current Mr. Chalk is a musician, and he's been self-employed for always. And he has an accountant, but of course you've got to provide the accounts in some way to the accountant, and like you say,
you still got stuff to do.
And every single year it's like pulling teeth. And every year when he does them, he then says, he then announces, right, I'm going to be different this year. I'm going to keep better. I'm going to do it more regularly. I'm going to keep on top of it. And I've been married to him. We've been married now for 30 years. And I think I've heard that 30 times now. But there you go.
Stacey does ours. Basically, we try and have one spot to put receipts. But most of our invoicing or receipts that we get are on their email. So we just basically just go through the email, and she just reconciles it with the bank statement. And then once we have all the receipts and the bank statement, essentially we send that to the accountant once it's all been checked off. And if there's a withdrawal that needs an explanation, well, then obviously we just tag an explanation on it, and then it's done. They just do it. But you got to have it. Probably takes Stacey about, I don't know, 4 hours or so, I suppose, every quarter to do it.
Yeah,
because she, she's onto it and does it really well. Every now and again, the accountant asks me questions, but they should know better than ask me questions, because it's like trying to get blood out of a stone. Like I just whatever. Like I say, just come up with something, just figure it out. Because that's all I got to do. So you just you just make it work. Sounds rather blasé or bushy, but that's just the way it is.
Bushy.
Just make it happen. Yeah, that's right. Just if it's a Phillips, get a flathead and you just go for it. It doesn't matter. You just use whatever. Just get out a bit of fencing wire or baling string and just fix it.
It's funny though, if you think about how many millions and millions and millions of people across the world struggle with, just as you do in the current Mr. Jaw. It's just like, God, life could be easier, couldn't it? But there you go. There you go.
Especially when so many people are self-employed, like it's
exactly.
Yeah, and you know, like it's one of those things where they are pretty forgiving for mistakes. Like, I've never been audited yet in my life of self-employment. It's not to say I never will, but even if I was, there's nothing anyway, because it is what it is. But we would rank as nothing on their spectrum because we just don't have that sort of income, and so it's just it's a nothing thing. But there
you go. El Neni is offering to be your business manager in 3 years when he's finished his studies. By then, Keith will have a full team by then, because crypto will have made him a very, very rich man. Carf will be on various blockchains with thousands of investors. We'll all have Vulcan in our wallets, rebasing away merrily. And with our Vulcan and Carf proceeds, we'll buy Bitcoin. And by then, it'll be a few 100,000.
I just love this shit when you hear different project owners saying that they're going to be competitive to like BTC and shit like that, and it's just like, are you serious? Like, yep, okay. It's just so funny when you hear some stupid statements made, and I know you can aspire to greatness, but far out, you got to have some sort of level of humbleness to you. You're like, you got to realize that you can't just like overthrow that. Well, not just like that anyway. Like,
no,
you come up with a new project and say that we're going to be the next.
It's a balance. You're right. It's a balance between dreaming big, but not being ridiculous.
It's so easy to it's called self-hopefulness.
Well, but you know what? There is something in you've got to believe in yourself, because nobody
Milky's
else
got to have something good to say.
Oh, Milky, look at this little essay.
Crypto would be a lot more appealing if there were was no bots. My suggestion would be to make a capture check on PCS or something. Obviously PancakeSwap, and then mainstream would be more interesting.
Yeah,
we were talking the other day about the uptake of crypto and stuff, and I really don't know how the hell they could ever even go close to, because the main issue that I had is that, obviously Carf had its problems with a malicious dev. We, like many projects have problems. And like when you start to go on to levels of accountability, and especially when it's legal accountability, you've got to be able to actually legally define the path of where things and where it went wrong and who did what. And which I have no problem with, because, what happened to Carf, that's all legitimate. But to be able to verify and to have someone in authority to be able to track it and go through the steps, and for an outcome to be made, you'd surely hope to hell that the legal framework was there to, like in my position, to indemnify you, to make sure that you're clean, because that's, don't get caught up in stupid traps, of just like the crypto space at the moment, where you got all the fake narratives and stuff like that. It's just unbloody believable, where people can just come up with stuff.
Bloody believable.
Love it. What is it? It takes 15 attempts to identify the amount of traffic lights. Yeah, you have to decipher that one for me.
I mean, I think there are so bots is a big issue, and there are so many other issues to mainstreaming crypto. I mean, it's you know, I know we've said many times it's like the Wild West, but there are so many ways it's like the Wild West. It's unbelievable. It's not just the scamming and the rugging and the lack of trust. It's even the barriers to getting in the first place. I mean, it's like learning a different language, right? And there's no
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris. There's no clear path to getting into it. It's so obtuse.
Is that against all bots altogether, Milky, or is that against because the biggest thing that people probably despise the most is front running bots. Front runs are just horrible. Like on Calf, it doesn't really affect me because they can't front run it, so that's not a problem. But because it doesn't allow for the multiple transactions in the same block, so that's
a contract thing that was built into the contract.
Yeah. So it makes it much harder for someone to front run a trade, and that's why I've never seen a front run trade on the new Calf V2. We get trading bots on there, but we don't get front run bots. We used to always have front run bots on the old contract, as the same as what you see on other projects. But obviously then you have to be careful with their slippage and stuff like that, because that obviously opens the door for a front run bot to take advantage of people incorrectly doing the slippage on their buy or whatever.
Okay, I see what you mean. I suppose the problem would be if you're doing a capture check, it's slowing it down.
Yeah, the speed of transaction would be a challenge.
Yeah. But I get what you mean. At some stage,
the crypto market has to have to make it a better place than where it is at the moment, and it just is always going to be a challenge to try and come up with the right sort of balance to, that satisfies, the traders and various other consumers. It's just very hard to, I suppose it's all a matter of coming up with, ways of making it fast enough or whatever, where you can do it. But I would imagine. I'm
going to ask a newbie question now. Well, not a newbie question, because I know little about stocks and shares and how all that works. Is there the same issue in that kind of investing, or is it just crypto?
No, because they use different books. It's because the automated market maker allows the opportunity for the front run bots and that to be able to take advantage of the whatever the settings are that someone does. So if they put in a slippage that's too high, a front run bot can actually see that before the transaction takes place, and is able to leverage against that to trade, within the same second, their trade to take advantage of someone doing the incorrect setting. So, but with stocks, they're done on the old, what we call the old system, with the order book, with their trading books. That's right. So it's a completely different thing altogether. Yeah, we're definitely thinking about it.
Only for the projects that we are in that require immediate purchases. The 99.9% of crypto does not need an immediate 10 seconds for a capture. That's true, actually.
No, but that's right. I agree with that. Really, I think that if it was broad spread and, taken up by everyone, I don't think that it would make any difference, because it just levels the playing field to be 10 seconds longer than what it is now, and so it really makes no difference. It all
and I guess
to be the same.
If it was there as an option, then you can make the decision, can't you? Because if you just want to, if you don't want to be delayed, you need to get in there within 3 seconds, then you choose not to do it. But if you don't want to be front run,
Yeah,
then
but I
you
think the
do
only
the
way to do it is to make it across the board, though, where everyone has to do it, because
mm,
otherwise you'll end up having it where people will be prepared to pay the extra just to get in faster if that was the case that they need to do it. I'm, like I may be completely shooting up the wrong tree, but I don't know. It's just a thought.
Yeah. I like it though.
Yeah,
Look at Milky pushing the boundaries of crypto as we know it.
No, it's bloody good because so much of this bot stuff has been such a controversial sort of thing. But having said that, bots are encouraged within the crypto space to level, like with the arbitrage and that, to level the playing field to make the prices more fair across the blockchains, etc. And that was the idea of allowing bots to do their thing. But the problem is that I see, and I really haven't had it explained or understand it any other way, that a front run bot is like what I would call like a malicious bot, where it's taking advantage of a consumer. But the trading bots are just essentially looking at some sort of like once it gets a certain percentage swing in one direction and it does a buy and so on. I know it can sort of change. Oh, it was on your side.
What's that?
Yeah, it was the voice. I thought it was in where I am, but it's not. It's you.
The current Mr. Chalk was just coming round the side of the van.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, but that's but it'll be interesting to see what Milky says about what his ideas are with the front run bot compared to trading bots or arbitrage bots. I know there's other terms for it, but we're just using very basic generic layman's farmers terms. But what do you think about, do you think the same, where front run bots is where the biggest issue is, or is it just bots in general doing whatever they do? But the whole crypto space, of course, I don't know how it's going to go through a change in it.
Milky can come on if we ping him the link. I'll send it to him.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, you're doing that?
Yeah, I'll do it. Hold on.
Okay, fine, you do it.
Unless, have you got Milky on?
No.
Hello, I've got him on. Milky, there we go. Milky, I'm sending it on a. Yeah.
You got DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, it's me and Milky are like this, aren't we, Milky?
Yeah, you got friends everywhere.
Oh, tell you what, mate. You just don't know. You just don't know half of it.
I'm learning.
I always say with Milky, myself and Milky, because I think, obviously, because we're fellow Brits, fellow Northerners, actually, which is more important. We've been chatting for many, 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 many months. And then one day I remember he said, I've got this idea for a project. And he was telling me about it in DMs. And then suddenly he's got this amazing project. Milky.
How's it going?
Hey, yeah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. No, so it was difficult because I was like just typing away.
Yeah. So, it's nice to meet you, Milky. I've never seen you before, so
yeah.
Milky Keith Milky.
Yeah, it's cool. Nice to meet you as well, Keith. So yeah, my thing, just the discussion about the kind of the way forward crypto is going to be mass adopted. I mean, eventually it's going to get there, right? Because there's nothing that it's too far gone already. It's just at the minute it's a little bit of it's the Wild West out there. We kind of all we all admit that. But for the majority of people with crypto, if you look at all these, the big influencers are still only talking about like stable coins and the big three, more or less. Like they don't talk about much else. They talk about XRP and those things. They don't talk about the DeFi space that we're in.
No.
Now, what I said about the DeFi space is we've seen so many good projects and bad ones and everything. We see them launched and then we see the liquidity drained within seconds. We see things that have happened where there's like barrage attacks with gas fees. You name it. I mean, every time we think we've seen it all, we see something else, right? It's just nuts.
It's unreal.
My thinking was like it's only the real it's the things that we've been involved in recently. So let's talk about we don't have to talk about them, but we know the projects we're talking about where the purchase has to be done like that. It's that FOMO. You've got to get in, and fine. That's great, right? We've seen it on, and things can mess up with that.
Yeah.
What I thought was, especially with the most recent launch, was unfortunately for the team that were involved in that, it was kind of taken over by bots and stuff. And I just thought, if you've got something like, if you're not going to do a pink sale where there's only one way of buying it and you can only do so much, like in that kind of, there, Chris.
Got a lot of time slot, yeah.
Yeah, if you've got that pink sale, that worked fine, because on the original Seifu, that worked brilliantly. It was in and out and you were done. But if you're going through someone like a pancake swap, Bogged is an element of pancake swap. It still comes through that route anyway. You've got things like all the other ones, Firebird Finance, depends what kind of chain you're on, Sushi Swap, Uniswap, the lot. And if they all came to it, or if they were made to, or if they all came to the agreement that it's not going to affect their cash flow anyway, because people are still going to buy it, but it's going to be like a capture check. You know, when you're trying to make a payment and it says identify the crosswalks, identify them, or identify anything. And it just gives you that 5 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever it may be, to make your purchase. When you're not in a rush to do it, you can take a minute to do it. It's not going to make a massive difference. It automatically takes out those liquidity draining bots. It really does. I mean, like I said in my message, 99.9% of crypto doesn't require that immediate input. It's going to take a couple of seconds. Like if I wanted to buy Bitcoin today, I'm not absolutely desperate to go and buy it at this price. If it fluctuates a couple of cents, I'm not bothered. So I think that if those kind of bridges, those dexes, those things like that enabled that, I think it'd make it a lot more appealing, because then people don't see these massive. I mean, if you go onto let's say if you go onto like Dex Screener, you can go in there and you can see new liquidity pairs, and those liquidity pairs, right? They go in, they pump, and then within seconds, liquidity pulled, and it's just all the time. And it's just unfortunate, because the only people who gained advantage from that on the way up was the people who actually got in really, really early, and that's the bots. And then by the time people, like real people, have got in, let's just say it was $1, it's now $7. It's just unfair.
Yeah.
Now, I've released a couple of tokens now, right? And as soon as I add LP, it's amazing how quickly the bots trade. Like, it's just unreal how quickly they just start. As soon as you put liquidity in there, then straight away it's just boom, boom, boom. You're getting bot, and it happens so fast.
Yeah, and if you look at, I mean, it's unfortunate. There's nothing you can do at the minute. But if you look at the Seifu Go project, and the theory behind it, the mechanics, everything on paper works. However, when it came to the arbitrage part of it, because of the way the liquidity was being like absolutely bot traded, then the kind of the big selling point for it, for the arbitrage, was not available. It didn't work.
That's right.
It was so close, and there was
that's what I was concerned about. You know, in the early times, like I made a video and stuff, and I spoke a little bit about the arbitrage stuff, but I was always a bit concerned how, because they had this supposed AI thing, and they could manipulate how much LP was in the Seifu Go, I was always concerned that maybe that would tweak the arbitrage opportunity to be detrimental to your project. So I was quite happy when I wasn't actually partnered up. They call it partnered, but I was actually quite happy not to be joined up, and like Chalk knows, we sort of made sure that didn't happen. And so I was quite happy that was the case, where, you know, like everyone else, you know, went through this thing of being paired up with them, and then it created price issues with the bot trading, was able to take advantage of it. So, I just felt personally there was a bit too much on the risk side when you're doing a pair with Esco, because they were able to actually change the LP. And the community was okay with the LP being changed, when that was the thing that I found a little bit, you know, a bit strange with the arbitrage.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, I'm not talking about one project specifically. I
know they're all different. Yeah.
But
I'm not shit-ragging on anyone. It's just what it is.
No, I get that, and it's facts, right? So, But for me, it was just the point of so many how do you say it, really good quality projects, or have the ability to be really good, are scalped. I call it being scalped all the time, because the second they have any kind of price, it's just bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And bots are set up, and unfortunately, it's the only way that crypto is going to be like mass adopted is if the person, the normal kind of, let's just say, 45-year-old man with no crypto experience, or 45-year-old woman, or whatever, just plain Jane or plain John. If they're getting in there and they feel that they've got a chance to do anything, but if they just see the charts and every time it gets to $200 or whatever, it's like a stream of bots for like 36 cents or something every single time. And they're just like, this is not fair, because the price appreciation is just being absolutely sucked by people who have more skills than I. So I'm never going to get in there.
And you know, I was only saying to I can't remember, I think it might have been Susan Emerson recently, you know, when we were going through all of the launch of the ESCO and other launches that we've been involved in. And it is that feeling of, no matter how quick you are, unless you have got that absolute specialized knowledge, or you've invested in bots or whatever it is, you're just left standing, aren't you? And you kind of think, I'm not even going to bother, because, and you know, it's a shame, because one of the reasons why I think we all get into crypto is that hope that you are going to get in on that one project that is going to blast and just make you so much. And
but technically they're all manipulated.
They are.
And not manipulated by just people doing their normal, you know, trading, but manipulated by algorithms where they're able to take advantage of it. And, you know, like humans, you know, are way behind what an algorithm could be set up to be able to, like, it can see an opportunity and it will take it in a moment, in a flash. But obviously a person's always going to be sitting on the fence going, should I sell now or not? And, you know, like by then the bot's already done it. Like, it's long done.
That's the thing, Keith. So I was doing a bit of day trading, swing trading on one of the projects recently. It has a lot of volatility in it, and I was like, this is okay, I'll wait. I think I had to make like 8% or something, or there had to be an 8% difference, right? So by the time that I'd identified it, and like I saw it go to a certain price, I was like, now's the time to get in. By the time I did that, I actually got in, and it was like I'd lost out like 4% because it was. I think I counted it. There was something like 11 transactions that happened before I could do it, and it was all for like ridiculous figures. It was just so frustrating. Because
but that's what just makes it disheartening and just turns people off. Especially, you know, you knew what was going on, which probably makes it a bit different because you had awareness of it. But you imagine if you're just normal Joe Blow having a go, and you know, like you feel a bit gutted.
So Milky, this sounds like a fantastic idea. Is this something that would sit actually on the exchange? So like PancakeSwap, or is this something that would be developed by individual projects that they would set up?
No,
we can't stop bots.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. By if you said that PancakeSwap, all the other exchanges had this thing that when you normally at the minute, if you're using MetaMask, for example, you say, yes, I'm happy to do that. And then you go to MetaMask and you review it and whatever. But in that period, if there's that check, then all the bots are disappeared because they can't pass it.
Yeah. So you need to ring Mr. PancakeSwap.
But of course, you got every other exchange has to fit into the same mold as well.
But then
there's not that. Well, if you think about it, like I said, again, mass adoption and stuff. But if you think about certain networks, let's say for argument's sake, you can't do things on PancakeSwap on the Ethereum network. It's got to be on SushiSwap or Uniswap. You forget all these things, right? So PancakeSwap is predominantly a BSC one, and you got Arbitrum, which is like Firebird Finance. I think I've used, and SushiSwap and stuff like that. So you only have a certain amount on per chain. But like I said, that's not going to come in until the PancakeSwap and the exchanges are not going to say, well, what's the benefit for us? Because it's not going to increase their traffic in any way, and they're still going to take the fees.
Well,
it'll make it lower.
It'll
take away their traffic.
But then you also make the decision as an investor. Do if I use PancakeSwap, I am going to have to go through this capture, but that's a good thing because it's going to stop the bots.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
Like I said, it's for mass adoption. I'm only talking about the like everyday people coming in, not getting straight into the DeFi space and things like that. And I think, and it's only certain projects that you have to buy immediately right now. It's going to be within 10 seconds or whatever. So people can take the time and just know that they're not going to get absolutely scalped.
It's so stressful, isn't it? Oh my God, it's so stressful. But listen, Milky, well, go on. Sorry, go on.
No, you go. Keep going.
No, because I was going to take us off slightly in a different direction, but go on.
If everyone had the same time delay, wouldn't it just make that everyone is just essentially on a level playing field, and it just doesn't change anything from what is now the status quo?
No, it does, because it's got to be a manual input, which is from a human. Whereas you've not got 25,000 bots that are able to do it at the same time. So if you're against every other human, it's a fair game, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
No, I was meaning like if PancakeSwap or whatever was to implement the procedure to verify with the capture, then if everyone had to do the same thing, it essentially just means that there's like that 10-second extra would be equivalent to everyone. So it just makes it all back to
I think
10 seconds.
Everybody whines about everything all the time, and I know my luck.
I know.
I would be in a situation where I had to buy fast, and I was trying to count the amount of steps or something like that, and I was like, and I thought, like I said, there's not many things that need that immediate purchase, and I think it's an extra layer. It would get rid of bots, but Mr. Pancake or Mrs. Pancake is not going to listen to me. But
maybe they should.
Maybe
they will when your project is one of the best. So how's it all going? Go on.
Go on, Keith.
No, I think that like PancakeSwap and that would be looking through their little prism of what is best for their own pockets, but not for the entire industry as a whole. So, you can understand their position of going, well, it's working good for us, all these extra bot trades. They're, like we're getting our fees every single trade, like that's, but, but when you look at the industry wide, like when it's helping to eliminate mums and dad investors or people that aren't really savvy, then that's also costing them a lot of money.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's trillions and trillions of dollars, but it's just not ready for that influx of cash yet.
So. No.
Milky, how's Property Flex going?
Yeah, it's going all right. Yeah, it's going all right. Steady away. It's and I didn't come on here to promote this. I just thought to come on.
Feel free to talk about it. Yeah. I want to ask you questions anyway.
I will until you kick me off, Keith. So don't really worry about it. It's going all right. It's slightly different in a way that it's not a token, it's not a coin, it's not anything. It's a property company that is using NFTs as currency. So we have to think about doing this properly. We have to think about the legal ramifications.
You have a lot of legal stuff,
Yeah, it's not just about throwing out a token there and doing a pink sale or whatever. It's not that simple. I mean, it will make it a little bit simpler. That our mechanics aren't that difficult, but we're in the process. We're in the middle of incorporating now, so that's the LLP that will be set up. And obviously, bank accounts and things like that. Real world bank accounts, because we can't just take somebody's MetaMask wallet and say, "Can you give me your commercial property and stuff?" So, but we have been introducing certain things. Obviously, the delay in the Vulcan blockchain gives us a little bit of time just to think about things. We are shopping now with regards to our first projects, so we're not wasting and sitting there.
Wow.
But we do have to get the real world side of it done properly, and that's, I'm hoping investors see that we could have just gone on to BSE scan. I don't know if you're in our community, Chalk, and you saw the announcement. Why we didn't do that. And it's about doing it right, because we want to be here for the next 15, 20, 25 years. We don't want to try and mess it all up, trying to run before we can walk. I mean, run before we can walk. We know what we're doing. But there's no need to throw it out there at the minute. So we're doing what we said we're doing. We're going to launch on the Vulcan blockchain. We're not going to launch on BSC network.
Okay,
and we're in communications to go multi-chain as well. So now it's just about finding out. We know how we're going to do it. It's just making those agreements with those chains with how to increase our rewards to mimic almost some of the things that are available to us on Vulcan. So they're not going to be identical. So
no. Do you know what makes me really, really, really happy right at this moment? It's having Keith the Crypto Farmer and Milky on the same stream, because when I've often been heard talk about real life utility in projects, and these two projects, of course, with the cards,
we're the only two that actually have something.
And Property Flex. I mean, you've got feet in the crypto world and in real life, and that for me is how, in the longer term, crypto will get adopted. Because if we can have real life stuff going on, then that is going to get the attention. And I just love it. And these two projects, I think everybody should support them, because it's going to take us forward in ways that I'm not detracting from other projects, but the absolute USP of these two projects is that they are, grounded in real life. And that for me is so special. So thank you.
That means a lot, and I'm sure, but it really does. And obviously you've seen it come from what is like nothing but an idea in the shower.
When you had an idea in the shower, I remember the day I was just telling Keith about it.
And to what
I wasn't there in the shower with Milky, just before anybody said.
You might have had the webcam on. God. Get out of the gutter. But as you know, Milky, like I suffered me fair share of a knockback in recent times with calf, and it just drives you nuts when just stupid shit happens. And that's just what we were talking about before with the mass adoption of crypto, and when you start to talk about the legal ramifications of things going wrong. Like I have no problems with someone having accountability, but you would want to make sure that the accountability, or whoever was being the policeman, was actually assessing and following the chain of what actually happened. So then, the onus is put in the right place, like the scammers or whatever it might be. So I wouldn't want to see project owners to get persecuted for things of, like the Wild West, because that's the problem that there is. And as you know, with our space that we're in, so much of it is that people just don't understand how to read the blockchain, and they go, it never lies. But the thing is that so much of it is the narratives that are fed from others, that they take it for granted that they must be, like he's my mate, or I trust him. And so he says something or she says something and they go, oh, well, that's what it is. That's what's actually happened. And that's where, like, even in my case, like I said it as clear as I possibly could, that yes, I allowed access to the LP wallet, right? I said that as clear as that. And yet people still come up with all these hairy-fairy things. And I was like, I could have lied about it and tried to make it sound like I was better than what I was. But I was honest to say that that's what happened. And obviously that's what's happened. And yet they still come up with these stupid things within the community that, there's other reasons to why it happened or whatever. And it's like, no, I told you what it is. But the problem is that we don't have the policeman to be able to, that has the authority to be able to look into, the transactions that I have and whatever, to be able to see, to show that I'm innocent of what the actual transaction was. I was guilty that I allowed it to happen, but I was innocent of the actual scam part of it. And that's the hard thing in the crypto space, is that, like projects can easily rug, and do it either maliciously or do it unintentionally, but essentially it means the same thing. But when it comes to the public's perception, you both treat, they're both treated the same way. My computer hadn't touched it for a while, so it went all black on me. So I don't mind there being accountability and checks and balances, but I just want it to be fair across. Like obviously it would have been good in my case if someone could actually be the oversight and go, okay, show us the transactions key, and then I show them what it was, and they go, okay, yeah, no, we're able to actually, because the end case was this Merck or whatever that they have their
the Merck wallet, wasn't it?
Yeah, where they can identify the people, and it's like you'd think it would be that easy, but no one has. It's very difficult. Like even like you lodge a thing with Merck, and it says that police authorities and that can use that to identify the people, but they probably never do. Like I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't heard anything from it, but I kind of wish that they could just do that sort of shit. But yeah, I think that the scamming side of it, like when I spoke to CryptoLink, which is the cross-chain link that was this sort of they came to my aid after the what happened with my bridging attempt, and I asked them, well, how often does this sort of thing happen? And they say that it's just unbelievable. It happens all the time. And I'm not joking to you, like it happens all the time. That we're dealing with this sort of stuff just on a very, very constant basis of just shit happening. And it's just unreal.
I think the problem is, hey, Chris, by the way,
Hi, guys.
Ultimately, the whole culture has to change with crypto, because at the moment, this stuff happens all of the time. And the attitude is, well, we're in crypto, what do you expect?
Yeah.
But if we just carry on with that attitude, it's never going to change. And the tide needs to change. So when something does happen, it's like, well, hang on, how did that happen? Let's learn from it and stop it happening in the future. But we're nowhere near that position, I don't think, at the moment.
No, not yet. And I think it's always people say that crypto is black and white, but when you are straddling that kind of between the two realms of real world and crypto world, it's not. And there is, as people have said to me in the past, there's three sides to every story. It's what you think happened, it's what they think happened, and what actually happened in the middle. Normally, it's not because obviously you're always biased. I mean, you can stand there with your husband, Chalk, and you can argue to your blue in the face, but there will be truth on both sides. It's just how you perceive that.
No, yeah, sorry,
John's like, no, that doesn't work.
No, you're absolutely right.
Truth's all on her side.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and like quite rightly in a way, then this is the way that crypto obviously does have a selling point. Is the blockchain is there, but it's almost like, and I'm not talking about any specific thing now because I genuinely don't want to get involved. But the blockchain is there, but sometimes it's like there's no professional detective to go and have a look. It's weekend warriors who want to go in and have a look and then throw all kind of accusations around when not knowing. And
the problem is those weekend warriors have an agenda coming to the table already. They're not objective in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, we can see just in the amount of like kind of chats we're in. There's people in some Discord rooms who don't like the other one, and whatever.
Exactly.
I mean, and you're never going to change that. People have personal opinions, and so but like it's just difficult because, like I said, there's never going to be until we get to the ability. There's not enough manpower in the world to do this because there's about 50 projects coming out a day across multiple platforms and stuff, and you're never going to get there. So. It's something that we're aware of on our projects and stuff, and that's why we've very much from the very start said we're a property company first. We are not a crypto company.
Very wise, because
we can give all the blockchain transactions, and ours will be a lot slower. Obviously, people can go and check the minting of NFTs. That's it, but they can sell NFTs on the open market space. They can do whatever they want, but there's not going to be anything from us, added liquidity or anything like that. Light paper shows it exactly how it is. That's never going to
Yeah.
change. We got multi-sig wallets, and we've got real world contracts. Now, that's as much as we can do. There's nothing else that is physically possible. So we believe that'll give people. Communications are key. As long as people aren't being made to wait too long, or they can just be told things as they're happening within reason. I mean, I'm not into this constant stream of messages and stuff. I'd quite like to just do like structured, professional kind of statements and things like that, and then the rest is just chit chat. But I think that's where we're going to succeed. I think because it's just going to be it's a corporate entity. That's it, with an online presence, and fingers crossed everything goes well. So we've got the right team involved. We've got some great people. NR and Kryptonian can publish it and do whatever they want. They can promote it, and we've got people. Chris helps us out a lot. Helps me out personally a lot as well.
You've got business people that are dealing with it. That's the thing. It's not crypto people per se. It's business people.
That's it. And myself, I forget what's his real name. Crypto Legend. There you go. Crypto Legend, NR, and Kryptonian. We've all got businesses. We've all we've all had challenges as well. When you listen to us in the back room, we've all learned from those mistakes. Yeah. So we believe that we're on the right footing, and if we can do this, then there's no reason why we can't succeed. And I'm that focused on it. I'm actually shutting down other businesses so I can focus on this properly. I'm taking it deadly serious, and so are the other guys as well. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. And a couple of months delay, so be it. I mean, it can take months for a property purchase to go through. So that's why we started.
For property stuff, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Guys, and Chris, you've only just come on, and I'm going to have to disappear, I'm afraid, because the current Miss Stroke is going to divorce me because it was supposed to be going out for lunch. So I've got to go.
A few minutes is fine with me on your show. I was listening the whole time, and I thought I'd have to come on because I was trying to figure out the only thing that I see. I'll just be real quick. The only thing I see with crypto bots is they're thieves. They're thieves. You cannot have a bot. Now, I run bots in Forex and the stock market, and most of mine are just day trading type or swing trading bots that come up with they have an algorithm that come up with a good setup. These crypto bots, I've been trying to figure this out for a while, and all they are liquidity draining bots is what I see. So I understand. I understand. I just wanted to come on because I was listening the whole time going, and then I saw the link and I was like, you know what? I got to go on there.
Well, you guys can stay on. I've just got to disappear. I'm going to go.
Okay.
You okay, Keith?
Yeah, of course.
Good to speak to you all, though.
Okay, thanks, Troy.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
I actually was looking into NFTing real estate, and this was before I heard of Property Flex. And there's actually, it might be more than one, I don't know, but I know of at least one company that does NFT property stuff in Australia. But I didn't go any further than that, but I've heard of that type of thing before. And that's why when I was, I heard of that Property Flex is doing the same sort of thing. Well, it could be the same sort of thing. That's why I was going to ask you about whether it is the same sort of thing. Because for what I've heard of it is essentially you got, say, $100,000 property and you break it into however many pieces you want, and each NFT is worth that portion to how many pieces you have. Is that the same? Is that the sort of thing that it is that you're doing, or is it something different? Or
correct, you're right in what you said. To absolutely nothing to do with the way we're doing it. The reason why is, one, there is lots of companies that are doing fractionalized NFT property investment. What they tend to do is they will use their NFTs and they will give you a portion of that actual property itself.
Yeah,
and then you
have legal rights to that.
You get those basic streams. So I think they normally average around about 8% to 10% per annum, which is pretty much what you'd get if you was going to go and put something into like a crowdfunding platform or something similar in the real world, right? Not on crypto. The reason why I started Property Flex, or at least had the idea, the concept behind Property Flex was, it was the reason why it's called Property Flex is because of the flex pools that were associated with Vulcan, because it's a reward based upon transactional value or transactional volume on the blockchain, and with those rewards you get the money back, right? So you get those money back. So it was a way of raising funds, so we don't have to rely on the bank. We can go in there, we can be cash buyers, we can put ourselves in a great position to get a better deal because we are coming with nothing but cash. And then while that money is sat on the blockchain, then it's getting on the Vulcan blockchain, it's getting the flex rewards, the power pool, the rebasing, and it's getting everything. So we did some basic math. Well, we haven't done basic maths, but obviously we can't guarantee what the transactional volume is going to be on the Vulcan blockchain. So we assume that if you put £100 into an NFT or $100 into an NFT, then you will be pretty much cash neutral within 3 to 4 months on relatively moderate transactional values. The good thing about that though is then we own the project or the commercial unit that's generating revenue. And then the profit in the real world that's generated by that project, that development, that income is then transferred back onto the blockchain and then increases the flex or the rewards for the NFT holder. So, and there's lots of, it goes a little bit complicated. I'm not going to go over it in here, but But that's the way we do it. So we're basically buying cash, using the rewards from the blockchain in order to feed back into the NFT holders. And if you get one of the ones that we buy with our first project, you get the rewards are based on every single project afterwards, because what in essence we're doing is we're re-rolling your funds around and then adding to it as other investors come on. So your funds will always be sat on the blockchain. You don't get those back, but you get the rewards coming back. So again, cash neutral about 3-4 months, and then you get the rewards. Let's just say we do a project, we make $500,000 profit. Of that $500,000, then 60% goes to the NFT holders. 30% is for growing the pot, so we've got more rewards for the NFT holders. 10% goes into the treasury, or whatever you want to call it, because in essence it's a property company and we have real world costs. Yeah, of course. And the other thing that we said we'd do would be really, really crystal clear on everything. So all the contracts that we sign with our contractors, our solicitors, our lawyers, our whatevers, those are all be available for people on the blockchain. They can see everything, every single dime and penny.
Well, it's all legally binding stuff. So
of course. And so
there's tax implications as well that people have to be able to present.
Correct. And that's one of the reasons why we've thought about long and hard about where we were going to incorporate. And we're incorporating in the Cayman Islands. But there is tax implications on obviously selling properties and things like that. So there is real world costings in there. But we think we've found we've found the right way to do it. And now it's not about rushing, it's about doing it properly, because
it's a different sort of project.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the last thing we want to do is launch really, really quickly and then just go down like in a ball of flames.
It's exactly it. It's not that sort of project where, like with tokens or whatever, where you just want to get it out there and, do whatever it is that you do with tokens to turn them into something. Whereas you're actually got to, go through your whole process, and it's a lot of legal avenues. How do you go sourcing property and stuff? Like, who's doing that and whereabouts? And
so in the minute I'm in the UK. That's where I've been based. Well, obviously all my life, and I do property over here at the minute. We've got Crypto Legend who's done multi like millions and millions of dollars worth in Canada. He specializes in condos and things like that. And then we've got NR, who's very is very modest about the amount of property that NR's actually done. He's done quite a bit, right? So
I know.
In Baltimore, and then we've got Kryptonian, who's done like business stuff down in Texas. So we're going to predominantly or initially start in the UK, Canada, or the US. And since we started making some announcements with regards to how we can pay people to bring us deals and how to partner with us in certain ways, we have been inundated with offers. So the ability to find a project isn't going to be that difficult. It's just quantifying it and making sure that it's a good project and it's a great project for Property Flex. Because what we want to do is we want to prove the concept, and we want to show everybody that these are good investments. And that's another reason why we didn't go onto the BSC chain, because we want to maximize our initial raise. So,
and this is like commercial style property you're talking about for getting the returns on the investment from.
So we've got two prongs, Keith. We've got the first one, which is it's like a rental yield. So yes, we'll go and buy a commercial unit with a tenant in place. If I'm speaking in English language, and I would ideally like to go and get like a blue chip kind of tenant. Let's say we buy a commercial building for 400,000, and we've got a Marks and Spencers, right? Is that like a universally known brand or whatever? We've got somebody like that, or a Tesco or something, that are leasing that off us for 10 years. Of that, then we will buy that for 400, 500,000. We will get the rental income straight away. And at that point, we will then refinance that commercial property onto institutional finance, i.e. a mortgage. And then we'll get that 75% of that money back to go again. And then obviously that claims the rewards on the chain. So, and then the second part of it is a development side. So we will buy a plot of land. We will buy a derelict place or whatever, and we will turn it into residential units, is probably the best way to say it. And
so you're going to try residential real estate as well?
Yeah, and it's something that I've been doing for a number of years. I've done lots of projects, and obviously Crypto Legend's been doing that over in the US as well. So it depends. You've got the ability to choose which side you want to invest on, whether you want smaller returns more often, or get a big chunk, or get chunkier cash every year or so. It's
because the big institutions seem to be more into the commercial real estate, like whether it be the shopping centers or things like that. But
there is always challenges around institutional finance. Obviously, the cost of living crisis we're having in the UK at the minute, and obviously
everywhere.
And environmental and political situations going on all over the world, right? So these all have an impact on borrowing. But there is always a lender willing to go. There is always a family office with hundreds of millions of dollars that are willing to lend. It's about finding those lenders. So, and we're pretty good at that. So,
you got a vast experience.
Yeah, it's not something that we've just started doing. We've been doing this for a long time, and now it's like, how do we do this in the crypto realm, and then just do something a little bit different. So,
that's right. But I like the idea of being able to have real estate and proportion it into NFTs. So you actually got a tangible asset associated to your NFT. That's the beauty of it, is that it's actually backed by a legal binding asset value, not some sort of hairy-fairy thing. It's actually real.
Yeah,
is what it's got.
Correct. And each of the NFTs is assigned to a project or or if you get one of the first ones, then that NFT could theoretically be signed to 15 projects, right? Because it's the same money that's been rolled around. One thing I have to be completely open and honest about is that the NFT, we do not separate the ownership of the property or the development is owned by the company. It's not owned by the individual NFT holders, because in the real world, if I wanted to sell a property and there's 1,500 NFTs,
no, it doesn't work like that.
So it's assigned to it, but it doesn't own it outright. So
no, I realise how that part of it works, but you still got, like, for argument's sake, a NFT that has real estate value attached to it, and so it's a tradable commodity. So you can sell that as a, obviously as not the real estate per se, but the ownership of that portion of a asset.
Completely correct.
Hey guys, I need to jump off here. I enjoyed listening to you guys earlier and coming on here and listening too.
Thank you so much, Chris, for calling in.
Yeah,
cheers.
you guys keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing awesome. So,
Chris, and I just want to say, Chris, thank you for all your help behind the scenes. Chris helps me out a lot, so I really do appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I believe in all the projects that we got, and I have a few of my favorites because just they got favorite people. So, but you guys take care.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Take care.
See you, Keith.
See you. Cheers. Yeah. No, it's an interesting aspect is the NFT-fying of real estate. I'm very intrigued, and yeah, it's something that I think would be well uptaked by people, because it actually isn't just like, it's not a crypto thing. Like, you're not buying calf token or whatever it might be, which is like in the real world, it's a nothing thing because it doesn't have its asset value as such. Whereas with what you're doing actually does. So,
the way I've been explaining it to some of my friends and things that aren't into crypto is, think about you're buying a portion of an investment, and therefore we're giving you a receipt, which is called an NFT. And rather than holding that receipt in a little lockbox somewhere in your house, then it's on your desktop in a digital wallet. That's the only difference. And
that's right.
And that receipt will become worth more and more and more. So that's kind of the way I've been talking to friends about it, because friends have been asking me about what we've been doing, and they're asking me how to invest, and like, they have no idea about setting up MetaMasks or anything.
I know the adoption is the hard bit, like, especially with the NFT stuff, because it's amazing how, even with the crypto space, how little knowledge there is in NFTs. In how to even buy an NFT, how to store it, how you can do anything with it. And we, like you and I have dealt with them. They're nothing. They're easy to deal with. But to even, people that have been around the crypto space are going, geez, what the hell is an NFT? What do I do? And it's like, it's not that hard, mate. It's okay.
I genuinely believe that in time, NFTs will be massive, because initially when they first started off, they were like, cool. Let me look at Gary V and stuff like that. They just did little doodles and they said, oh, buy my pictures and stuff. There was no real value in it. Or if you buy my little doodle picture, you can come and meet me and chat to me for half an hour or whatever. That was the kind of real world value. I just think that what we're offering for NFT projects in general is kind of it's maturing slightly now, and we're able to tie them down to specific things. And I think when there will always be a DeFi space, and there will always be somebody pushing the boundaries, and there will always be people making quick money. But I think for long-term investments, personally, you can't really go wrong with an NFT tied to a real-world asset.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's why, I've obviously done a little bit of research about that exact thing in the past, and that's why, like I don't come here not knowing anything about it, and because it's an intriguing thing is to be able to combine a real world asset to, a crypto thing, NFT. It's secure as like no one else can do anything with the NFT, unless you do something stupid yourself.
No, and that's the thing for us. I mean, if somebody wanted to come in and try and hack the system and buy 100,000 NFTs, well, you crack on. You can buy as many as you want. Because
you can soon kill them.
Is easy.
Yeah, you can have you can turn it into no value pretty quick, and as a safeguard, I'm sure you would have abilities to be able to. There was one thing about what was happening with the nodes now. The questions popping up like, what happens if I lost my NFT, or if someone stole it or whatever? What happens to the Property Flex NFT if someone was to steal it, or they lose their device or their seed phrase, or what's the go there? What sort of KYC do you have to verify that they are the legitimate owner and all that sort of stuff? How does that all work?
I mean, this is one of the reasons why we made the NFT, because we wanted people to be able to get in at the very bottom. It was that's why the NFTs are only going to be $100. They're not going to be like massive amounts or anything. We just have to sell more of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's like we're trying to make this as simple as possible and as real world as possible, because I think a lot of times people overcomplicate things. So let's say, for argument's sake, you've got an NFT, it's $100 worth, and you can come to us, and I'm not saying this is exactly how it's going to be, because obviously we're going to work this out. But if you can come to us with a transaction ID and you can prove that was your wallet, or basically come to us with a receipt and say this is my proof of ownership, then we could probably just mint you another.
Do you have a KYC on NFTs? Like, so you know, like does anyone have to KYC to?
No, not because it's not really all. The reason why they won't have to KYC is because they're just receiving rewards, right? We're not asking from any input from them. We're not asking them to do anything. We're not asking them to host. The reason
that bit there would turn a lot of people off, though, wouldn't it? Is the KYC?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, we've seen on other things as well. KYC, it's just an additional cost for somebody. Not needed, right? So if they're not hosting for us, they're not doing anything for the company. They are literally just buying a digital receipt for $100, and then they get. So there's no reason for them to tell us who they are. We don't need to know. This is why people do like crypto, is because that anonymity.
I know
that word is. Yeah,
but that's my whole thing about the policeman checking over the blockchain, because like everyone loves to be anonymous on the blockchain, and this is the thing that makes it difficult, where it's very hard to get the balance between being anonymous and being able to verify a story. It's bloody hard to, because there's so much speculation and it just makes it very, very difficult. As you know, I've been caught in the middle of it, and at certain times, and it's bloody hard. Like, I've never really spoken up much about anything that's gone on, and I've let others run the agenda and their narratives, and good on them. If they want to do that, whatever, doesn't faze me. I don't really care. But in a conversation like this, I'm telling you, the way I feel about it, where there's so much accusations and things that are done where they're just not based on any sort of fact of reality and truth, because of people's inability to be able to verify what's happening on the blockchain. They say it never lies, but they can't verify all of the information because of the anonymous nature of it. And it makes it bloody hard. There's a lot of gray area, and there's and because of people's either naivety or inability or just lack of willingness to learn, that they fall for people's narratives that they choose to run with. And, it's almost like the schoolyard stuff. If you've got the most friends, or the strongest or the biggest friends, then all of a sudden the little guy gets sort of the narrative run against him, and he's got nothing to stand on, and so they just squish down, and even though the little guy mightn't have done anything wrong. And it's just, the crypto space is a funny place.
It really is. It takes a long time to kind of get used to what, and even then you're always surprised by things that come up. But
and especially when you know the actual facts, like what gets me is that sometimes you'd be on, like I've had occasions, I'll be on Discord and people are alleging something's going on at that moment, and you're just sitting in your lounge chair going, okay, what am I doing? And yet they're saying, oh, he's doing this right now. But okay, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything. Like, seriously, I'm just sitting here doing nothing, just like talking to you, and just watching it all go boom. And it's just unbelievable. Like, and they run these narratives and agendas like to get the outcome that they want. But it's a matter of being around long enough to actually see that that's what they were after in the first place. Obviously, you know what I'm alluding to. But it's just amazing when you're just caught on the space is just so shit. Like it gets so frustrating at times, especially when you're trying to have a project that actually does something that's not even human related. Like this is all about animal ethics and you know, trying to instill some of that in the crypto space. And you know, like so many other projects don't even have anything, and we're trying to do at least something that's good for humanity, and yet you get all these false agendas or narratives and that thrown against you, and it's like, oh shit.
But unfortunately, no matter how much we don't want that to happen, that is always going to be. And again, there is pros for it, because people like us can market to whoever we want. Now we have the platform to do it, but also people have the platform to say their opinions or whatever they think is happening as well. So you have to take the rough with the smooth. I understand that you've been through a bit of rough.
But
I think,
you know, you just sort of it's painful and it hurts, and you know, like, yes, I get all that, but you know, like I tend to not let it worry me too much, because like people will just, they got the community power more than what I do. Like I might be on, like people say about doxing and stuff. Well, hello, I'm here. You know, like that's my name was on the screen. You know, like that is me. But it's still funny how there's different power plays and stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people are unaware of. That, you know, I wasn't aware of it at the time, with one thing that happened, and it came to my attention afterwards with certain people direct messaging me, and it made me awake to what was actually going on behind the scenes, where I just wasn't aware of what the agenda was. But then, you know, it was brought to my attention. I was like, oh yeah, righto, now I see, you know, but that's why I just stay quiet and sort of just let it, you know, like I got broad shoulders. I just let it, you know, if people want to throw names around or whatever, then good on them. You know, be sheep that like to follow and hear all that stupid shit. And if that's what people want to do, then great, fill your boots. But I'm here for the animals. I'm not here for, you know, trying to, you know, convince someone that, oh, my project is the best project and it's, you know, you're going to get the biggest returns and blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm here for the animals, and I'm trying to build a community with some sort of integrity. And, you know, obviously in recent time that's been knocked enough, but at least I stopped the loss. I reinstated, I made a new contract. Yes, it was fucking hard. But I managed to do it. Like it was done. But yeah, you know, like at least so many times during that 2-week period that I just felt like saying, oh, fuck you, like, why bother with it, you know, because it was just, sorry about the language, but it just gives me the shits that much, where you just get sick of people running their mouth all the time and just talking you down. And yet, you know, like, I know I did the action. I get that. Like, you don't need to drill it to me. I get it. I fucked up. Like, I made the mistake. Yeah, the farmer comes out in me.
Don't worry about that. I spent 10 years in the Navy. I've got some real topical language, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, but you know, that's where but as far as the integrity goes, that's why all I could do was make a V2, and which I wanted to do a better thing anyway, which is what I did. And then, you know, obviously the community wide has been knocked really severely in recent times, with the different things that have been going on.
It's been a rough time for a lot of people. Projects we saw with Prisma recently as well.
Yeah.
They've had their share. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that Dan Prado's worldwide coin goes fine. You know, with whatever he's got. I think in the next couple of weeks on Pink Sale, at least he's doing it on, which is good. I hope that's really successful. I hope there's no more I hope there's no more kind of dramas with that, because as a community, and again, I know people get along and other people don't and stuff, but as a community, as a whole, I would like to see some projects at least get off the ground and kind of given the ability to establish themselves, because at the minute it's just like they're just being cut down at the knees.
It's just cutthroat. Yeah. It's just savage. And that's why, like, on the calf side of stuff, we've essentially said that we've gone our own way and Brian's gone his way, because he severed ties with anything I touch anyway, because he was drawn into the narrative as well, and hence that live stream that we had with Prado and that, and he was coming up with transactions which, yes, it was real, but you're talking about something that was 5 days earlier affecting today, and that was when the chart was down here, and you're talking about stuff that's up here. You know, like I said, I was just sitting back in the lounge chair on my phone on Discord and watching it all explode, and I knew the people's wallets that were doing their things because I had certain markers in them, and hence I was able to say that on the live stream. Even though I didn't want to say it because I wanted to keep it anonymous, but of course, you know, they were all saying that if you don't say it, well, then you're in the wrong. And so, well, what are you meant to do? So yeah, you know, like even though I said it, you know, it's still that, you know, people just come up with so much shit. It's just unbelievable, and that's why the space is so toxic. It's just unreal.
I think. I mean, it's like everything in the world, isn't it? I mean, I've been through some real bad situations, especially going through COVID with property developments and stuff that I was doing, where banks are pulling their funds. I was having to borrow millions of pounds, and it was not a nice time at all. But you learn from it. You think, right, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Because when I was making those mistakes in my I can't really call them mistakes, but I just wasn't ready for what happened. I don't think anybody was, right? But you kind of learn from it and you say, right, what did I do well? What didn't I do so well? And then you just try and focus on not making those same mistakes again. And I think as a community, with regards to these projects that are coming up across various platforms and things, like we all know each other more or less, or we see each other around. And I just think that, fingers crossed, we get a couple of projects off the that work well, and we all support each other now, because nobody wins if everybody's trying to like keep anybody else down. It's that analogy of and the only reason why they're trying to keep you down is because they're maybe they're working on another project which they want to succeed, or where they're jealous of what you're doing. There's an analogy of crabs, and not the crabs that are transmitted between one person to the next. I mean, like literal sea crabs, right? If you go fishing and you get a crab, then when you've got one crab in a bucket, you have to put a lid on that bucket, because the crab will climb out because it's trying to get out. If you get 2 crabs or 3 crabs in a bucket, you don't need a lid on it anymore, because when one tries to climb out, the other 2 crabs will keep it down. And that's what I see happening in this realm. It's not just this. Happens kind of all over the place in the DeFi space, at least, and people will thrive on tearing you down. So I just think that you in the crypto space, myself in the property space, we've taken our licks, and now it's just about focusing on what we can do better and seeing what happens in the future. So that's why we've changed with the we're doing these live streams and stuff now, just as sort of impromptu whatever chats, you know, and if like people like yourself turn up, wonderful. I'm interested to hear about your project. I like to learn what it is. Obviously, I have some experience from some research that I've done on different things. Hence, I knew about NFT and property. But I actually have a genuine interest in knowing what it is. That's why when you said about talking about your project, I want to actually learn about your project. You know, I know it says calf up there, but I like to learn about Property Flex. I like to learn about what's going on, because, you know, these things are important. And if the blockchain, long ago I made a video about a tree that was fallen over in our paddock. And I made this stupid little analogy, which is correct. Well, in my opinion, it's correct. That, you know, without the projects, the blockchain essentially just falls over, because it just doesn't have the roots, the fundamentals to hold the blockchain strong, to keep it a thriving blockchain. You know, without the projects, unfortunately, you got a blockchain, but that does what? You know, like you want transactional volume. You need that. You know, especially with your project, you need transactional volume.
you know, is a key ingredient to
Yeah,
Property
the
Flex's
rewards.
success.
Yeah.
You know, so of course you would be keen for projects to be successful on the Vulcan blockchain. And I've got nothing against the Vulcan blockchain whatsoever. You know, I know that, you know, in BL's words, I'm not allowed on the Vulcan blockchain. Well, if I want to be on there, I'll be on there. I don't really care, like whatever. I've nothing against, you know, like I'm very, very farm-like like that, where I'll just go with whatever I have to go with. And if someone, you know, if, as you know, Cause of the Calves, well, I don't know whether you know, the Cause of the Calves, the initial NFT sales up until the end of the Bitcoin sacrifice and even into the ETH sacrifice, had quite a bit of sacrifice done into Vulcan. And that's what we were waiting for, was the rebase component for Cause of the Calves. And that didn't, obviously hasn't eventuated. And so that's why I set up the token, the original token, in January, upon them announcing that the Vulcan was going to be delayed. And that's why mid-January, I think on the 16th, I done the first lottery style, you know, promotional draw of the NFTs that I was doing, because I didn't want people to buy an NFT back in October, November, December and have to wait until now or later before they could even get any returns from it. And we've done that for 23 weeks, I think now.
Oh, nice.
Where we've done returns to NFT holders, because I set up the calf token. Now I know at the moment the value of the calf token's down. That's the space, you know, unfortunately. You know, you have your better times, you have your worse times, and we're being sort of kicked in the guts a bit, either through ourselves or from others. You know, it's just you just pick up your shoes, just keep on going, don't you? Like, you don't give up. And hence, you know, with the recent challenges, I could have easily just gone, buggy is, I'm just not going to bother with it. And then, but no, I'm not going to just do that.
It's one thing that I actually do, like, it's a strong component of my my, how do I say, my moral being is I was born in a relatively poor area. Not, what's the best way of saying it? I didn't have much money, and neither did my family, and there was nothing to go around. We were on like meal tickets and things like that. We had at schools and stuff. I had no cash, and then I was end up working in a factory, and then I was going to join the Navy, and the job that I was doing, it required me to wait for 2 years to get my security clearances through. And during that time, people said, "Oh, why are you joining the Navy? You'll never do anything in the Navy and stuff." So anyway, so I got away from that, and I got in the Navy, and I did that for 10 years, and I got promoted quite quickly and quite a number of times as I was in there. And then I left there, and I was going to be a contractor for some American agencies. And they said, well, I was on decent money in the Navy, I was at a decent rank, and they said, well, why are you going there? You'll never make it. Again, just listening to these crabs, right, as I call them. And I did that, and I was supposed to last 6 months, and I was there for 10 years. And then when I was leaving there, because I was on 6 figures there, and they said to me, why are you leaving that job to go and do property? You'll never make it. And obviously since then we've built like multi-million-pound portfolios and done numerous builds and stuff. So I have a sleeve of tattoos with people of who've said certain quotes about not giving up. Like, well, I've got Winston Churchill in there, I've got Henry Ford and all that kind of stuff, saying like never give up. And it's just something that I don't listen to. I don't listen to people telling me that I can't do something, because just normally they tell you that you can't do something because they can't do something. And a lot of people are waiting. I would say if you think you've got a better project than me, go and build it. I mean, it makes no difference to me, but a lot of people won't, or they don't know how to, or they just don't have the get up and go to go about it, to go and find out or to learn. So I would say the various blockchains all over the place are available. Anybody can launch a token. Anybody can launch a project in any way. Go and do it. So, and if you've done it and then you criticize me from a place where you know what you're talking about, good, because I will gladly listen to you and I will gladly learn something new. but don't sit there on the sidelines criticizing me when you haven't had the bollocks to go and do it yourself.
That's what I found so much about the events that, the hardships I've been through with the calf token was, it's very easy to be a keyboard warrior and be sledging all of this stuff. If you had have been doing it yourself, then, I'm not saying that you would have done necessarily the same things, but there would be pitfalls that people fall into. You've seen it in a vast amount of projects within our space, and they're all different in their, if they're being honest about it. I've been honest about the way that the pitfall that I had, but, everyone's pitfall is, supposedly a little bit different, but it's the scope of little scams and stuff out there is just, it's like when you speak to someone like CryptoLink, it's just amazing how much they say it's so prevalent in the space. It's just, there's lots of it going on, and you as much as you dodge 1 bullet, 2 bullets, 3 bullets, sooner or later, you can get struck by one, and you just, hopefully you don't get hurt too much, but of course you got to pick yourself up and shake it off and go, and you just do the best you can, and what else do you do? But that the main, the history of myself or anything, the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I'm one of those people who just watch kind of from the sidelines. Too much.
Yeah, because that like we read calves and stuff, and at the moment, like 6 months ago, the market was actually not too bad, but we knew it was going to fall again. And at the moment, on bull cars, we're losing money, we're rupturing money like you wouldn't believe on bulls. But we're still doing it. Like the farmer was saying, well, what about euthanizing? And no, it's not going to happen. It's immoral, and no, it's just not going to happen. And yes, fortunately we have heifer calves where we at least get contract returns on them, and we just essentially use that money to help us pay for the bull calves. But it means we're in a shed and we're converting it to a house. And talking about property portfolios, and this will give you an idea what it is. So, the GFC in 2008, back then I was self-employed still, but I was running a bobcat business doing earth moving and stuff for residential houses. And I had so much work. It was just unbelievable. Like I'm good at what I do on machines, and I'm a mechanic by trade and all that sort of stuff. And, I just got a good eye for doing stuff. And I just had that much work thrown at me. It was just unbelievable. And, at the time, because, income was good, we mortgaged a lot, and we had built up quite a portfolio of different houses. We had, half a dozen different residential homes and stuff. And, I was what you would call over mortgaged. But when you mentioned earlier on about some little mistakes, but they're not mistakes that you make. It's just that when the circumstances of your investment get changed out of your control. Correct. Like for us, it was the bankers in America that created the GFC, and but of course the shockwave went everywhere in the real estate market. And right at that very point in time in 2008, I had a contract on a house to sell, and that one contract, because the property market was elevated, would have paid for, like, that was a duplex block where I split the block. It would have paid for the house next door. And there were 2 new houses. But the contract fell over, subject to finance. It fell over because of the GFC. They stopped lending right at that point in time. And I ended up being able to fortunately sell real estate, even though it was so difficult to sell, but without going bankrupt. But it meant that I ended up selling at a loss. And so my personal house, I ended up just salvaging enough out of it to buy the cheapest block of land that I could, which is where we are now. And, we've been through what every person has been through their tough times. We were up there once when you start talking, multi-million-dollar portfolio, and then crash back down to earth, and it's like,
yeah.
Yep.
It's so frustrating because we went through the same when in COVID. We were just about to start a build. It wasn't particularly a big one. It was just 5 houses.
Yeah.
We broke ground and we were in the footings, we were in the foundations, and then it's taken a while to get to that point because of council issues and planning and stuff. And then just as we were about to start, really, COVID hit, and obviously the whole world stopped for a portion of time at least. But
yeah,
we were able to carry on building because they were outside, and the COVID rules at that time were that they were able to continue construction. But for me, the banks obviously didn't know what they were doing, and they pulled the purse strings. And we had things like, that's when I learned about like step-in rights, because the banks can just step in and take the site off you. There was lots of things that happened, and then we had contractors going bust all over the place, and we were trying to, and then obviously the demand for contractors went up, so the prices went up and the materials went up, and all this stuff was beyond our control. But what can you do? You just got to kind of lick your wounds. But it's something, again, it's lessons learned and just move forward. And it's just not nice while it's happening, right? But there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do.
But that's what I find in the crypto space with the recent knocks that I've had, is that I was prepared for knocks because I've experienced that, where that was talking a lot more money than 13 grand from calf, like that, talking in the $1 million range, where that's basically when you watch all of your equity just suddenly vanish. But for calf, it was only 13,000. It's not that big a thing, but when you watch all the equity vanish, it still gives you the same sensation where it's like, oh shit, it's just horrible. But of course, it happened in an absolute instant, rather than hearing about it on the other side of the world, and then all of a sudden it's on you. And but at least I was prepared, mentally prepared to be able to handle the stressful situation. But it doesn't make it easy as such, but you just sort of stay composed and you're okay and you battle through it. But we've certainly, through life's experiences, I'm sure that most people in our community would be able to vouch for their own experiences, because I'm sure that not everyone has had, silver spoons and forks, and had life so much easier than everyone else. There's lots of challenges out there. Everyone's got a story. But that's why in 2020, the COVID thing was when I was like, I'm quite disabled now. Like you see me walk around, but I'm getting close now where they'll give me 2 knee replacements. So hopefully that will allow me to walk around better. But my elbows are buggered, but they can't do anything about my elbows because apparently with a bigger, stronger bloke, and I'm too young, I'll just blow them out because they know that a farmer, I'll just kill them. So I'll just pull them to bits. But my brain tumor is the thing that's really buggered me up. But like, we don't want to stop rearing calves, and that's why I thought I'd set up this project for Cause of the Calves, to help hedge the cost of the bull calves. Because sometimes the market can be good where you can actually either break even or make $1, but more often than not, you're always losing money on bull calves, and there's just nothing you can do about it. It's just, we've been doing it for 10 years now, and in that time, there's been 2 good cycles of, say a 6-month period where bull calves have been okay. The rest of the time, they just forget about it, and that's why, you just don't sort of ever think that, it's wait. The sales agents are always saying to me, you've got to wait until a bit of rain, or, there's always an excuse why they're always saying that tomorrow's a better day than today to hold on to your livestock and stuff, but it never comes true. It's just, you always, like people in the crypto space, always chasing the unicorn, the rainbow, you know, like always trying to find that pot of gold, but it's just always seems to be just there, but it can't quite grasp it.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same sort of thing dealing in the livestock trade, where it's, you know, like environmentally affected by rain and stuff like that, whether people have feed, to whether your commodity is actually worth anything or not. And it's 9 times out of 10, there's always some factor, an oversupply when there's too much grass, or, you know, when there's plentiful grass, it's an oversupply, or there's always some factor that always wants to squish you down and just stop you from being the crab that escapes the bucket, you know. And it just, whether it be the GFC or COVID in your case, you know, like it's just amazing how your, you know, brain tumor disabilities or whatever in my case, it's just amazing how, you know, that, like your analogy of the crab in a bucket, that's exactly right, because you're trying to break out, you're doing your thing, you set yourself up with a business course, and, you know, like you know what you want to achieve and that you're able to do it, but there's this bloody thing that keeps on giving you the shits, and getting rug pulled was just another one of those things. And it's like,
it happens all the time. I mean, I've lost count of the daft investments. Well, not daft investments, but it's all part of learning. And obviously, I see those things coming from miles away now. The honeypots and the ones where, like, similar to like baked beans, where the contract's being drained over and over and over again, and the only real people who are making any money from it is the YouTubers with the reference with the referral codes and stuff. So I've seen there, I've lost money to these things, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to put like a project out there that was based on real world, because it was like,
that's why I'm like Chalk was saying, because Chalk and I talk a lot. Obviously we do our live streams then all the time and that sort of stuff. Well, now we do. We do the weekly one, but now we're doing more during the week as well, like this one. But we've spoken a fair bit about Property Flex because of the real life utility. And that's exactly what I love to see, is that projects doing real things, not just, I'm partnered up with so-and-so, and so you can do this with my crypto, and, you know, like, boom, like amazing hype. And it's like, but what does it actually do? Like, what can you do? Like,
that's what everyone says is for everything. And hi, Miss Lovey, as well. I see your comment coming through at the bottom, so I just wanted to say.
Hi, Miss Love.
So
sorry, I wasn't looking at the messages.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's the utility is key, and I think obviously your project with the car says utility, and there will be others. I mean, somebody's got to set the standard, and somebody's got to remember. I can't remember what decade it was in, but Roger Bannister was the first one to break the 4-minute mile, right? So he was a UK guy back in the 60s, I believe it was. Nobody had ever run a mile in 4 minutes, and he said it was, and everyone said it was impossible. He did it, and then I think it was within 2 months, 4 or 5 other people had done it as well. It just needed.
It's amazing how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, it just needed that first person to show that it's possible, and I think that's where I think some of the projects are going to be involved in kind of our, how do you say, our ecosystem or around the communities. I think we just got to show that. Not be trailblazers, but be the first, and just to show that it's possible. And then people will come with better projects, and they will come with better ways of doing things, and they'll tweak it and tailor it. And that's what I've done with Property Flex. I've not reinvented the wheel. I've seen that there is NFT property investment.
That's right.
I've just tweaked it and made it specific for our investors. And I think that's where it needs to go. But I will say this to you, Keith. I came on and I said I will be on for 5 minutes, and that was an hour and 20 minutes ago.
I know.
And it's coming up to 3 o'clock. Well, 2:30 here in the UK, so I do need to shoot off and get things.
You know, that's all good. It's all good. I've been here for 2 hours. Like, I've had enough. Miss just turned up, but we're shooting off. So I'll be talking to her on Discord. That's all good. Thank you, Miss Love. Thank you to everyone that's turned up. That's just awesome. Muchly appreciated. Thank you. And thank you very much, Milky, for having a conversation with me and telling me about your project, because it's just wonderful to hear about it, and I definitely want to hear more, because it's
just one question before I go. Are you I forget, are you in the Australia or in New Zealand?
I'm in Western Australia.
Oh, right, okay. So I hope that we get our revenge on you in the Ashes coming up for the second series.
You got no chance, boy. Yeah. You got no chance.
All right,
no
I'll catch
way.
you later. I'll see you later.
No worries. Thank you very much. Well, everyone, that's where Miss Love. Do you have anything that I'll stick around for a little bit if you want. We've had quite a long live stream today, talking about all the different stuff and things that have been going on with the property flex, and with obviously the cause of the calves. Where obviously I talked about the issues that I've had, our life issues, different things that we've had go wrong, and hopefully in future that we get more things to go right, when that's obviously the aim of the game. But I just want to tell everyone, and if anyone's game to watch this long, then thank you. But look, everyone goes through their life's knocks, whether it, obviously I've had my fair share. But, people just chill out on everyone. I know it's just so much shit going on in the space. It's just unreal. It kind of gets a little bit frustrating when you see so many people getting so personal about stuff, but it's a challenge. Just be nice to everyone. Anyway, thank you very much, Miss Love, for turning up, and DLD Crypto, and Mrs. Worldwide, and Chalk, of course, Chris and Milky, El Nanny, and Vulcan Dell, and Don Crypto. Thank you, guys. Absolutely hugely appreciated. And I'll find my little thing and I will say thank you. See you later.